You know, whether it's a super important business meeting or a massive concert, there's one thing that can absolutely make or break the whole experience: communication. And that's exactly what we're diving in today. We're going to take a look at the Sennheiser professional audio ecosystem and see how all their interconnected gear and software are built to tackle those communication challenges head-on.
So, here's the plan. We're going to kick things off with what's probably the heart of modern business, the meeting room. After that, we'll jump into the future of wireless audio for bigger spaces. Then, and this is super important, we'll talk about making sure everyone can hear, making audio truly inclusive. And to wrap it all up, we'll see how some really smart software brings this whole thing together.
Okay, before we get into all the cool tech, let's just stop and think for a second. In any meeting, any lecture, any performance, what's the one thing that if it goes wrong, the whole show just stops dead in its tracks?
Yeah, it's the audio every single time, right? If you can't hear what's being said, it doesn't matter how amazing the presentation is or how incredible the performance is, it's just gone. And that idea, that's the bedrock of everything Sennheiser does. Crystal clear audio is just non-negotiable. All right, so let's jump in where most of us spend our time collaborating these days: the meeting room. And Sennheiser's solution for this is the TeamConnect Bar family. Think of these as the all-in-one heart for everything from a tiny huddle space to a big boardroom. What's great is that the TeamConnect family scales with you. You've got the Bar S, which is perfect for those smaller huddle rooms. It's super simple, even has power over Ethernet to keep things clean. But then, if you've got a medium-sized room, you can step up to the Bar M. This one's got more mics to pick up everyone's voice better, stereo speakers for way richer sound, and even dual HDMI outputs for those multi-screen setups. Kinda cool, right? But listen, it's not just about awesome audio. These bars are smart on the video side too. Both of them pack an intelligent 4K camera. You get this thing called AI autoframing, which is really cool. It automatically zooms and pans to follow whoever's talking. And for bigger groups, it has AI tiling. You know that Brady Bunch look? It creates that grid so everyone in a hybrid meeting actually feels like they're in the room together.
Okay, so what if your room is bigger, or your needs get more complex? What happens when you outgrow just one device? Well, that's where the real magic comes in, and the secret ingredient is a technology called Dante. The easiest way to think about Dante is it's like the universal translator for pro audio. It lets all these different pieces of gear talk to each other perfectly over a regular computer network, and that is what takes the TeamConnect Bar from just a great all-in-one box to the beating heart of a much bigger system. So check out how this scalability works in the real world. You can start simple, right? Just the TeamConnect Bar. But let's say you move into a bigger conference room. No problem. You just add a Sennheiser ceiling mic using that same Dante network, and bam! You've got perfect audio coverage. Or what if you need to make the room more accessible? Easy. You can plug in their assistive listening system, Mobile Connect, using that exact same network port. It all just works together.
Okay, so that's the meeting room all wired up and ready to go. But what about when you can't be tied down by cables? Think about huge venues, sprawling university campuses, or live concerts. That's where you need freedom. You need wireless. And let me tell you, Sennheiser is completely changing the game here.
Let me introduce you to something called Spectera. Now, for basically forever, we're talking like 80 years, wireless audio has worked by chopping up the airwaves into tiny little slices. Spectera just throws that whole idea in the trash. Instead, it uses one single, wide, 6 MHz chunk of spectrum to do things that were literally impossible before. Like imagine sending your mic signal out and getting your in-ear monitor mix back on the same device at the same time. It's wild.
And the real-world benefits of this are just huge. I mean, one body pack is now your mic and your in-ears. That wide signal is super tough against dropouts. You can cram an insane 64 channels of audio into a tiny one-rack space box. And here's the kicker. You get to decide what's most important for each channel. Need ridiculously low latency for your drummer? You got it. Need the maximum number of channels for a big theater show? No problem. Need the absolute best, most pristine audio quality for your lead singer? The choice is totally yours.
So yeah, Spectra is an absolute game changer for those huge, high-stakes live shows. But what about the rest of us? What about the reliable, everyday wireless that you need in a university lecture hall or a corporate auditorium?
Well, for those situations, there's Evolution Wireless Digital, or EWDX. This system is all about being both powerful and incredibly simple to use. It's got this massive dynamic range, which basically means you can stop messing with the sensitivity settings. It just handles everything from a whisper to a shout, no problem. No distortion. It also has this clever frequency grid that lets you pack a ton of channels close together without them interfering with each other. Oh, and you can set up and run the whole thing right from an app on your phone. How easy is that?
And look, we all know that if you're putting something on a corporate or university network, the IT department is going to have questions about security, right? Well, EWDX is built for that. The newest firmware is compliant with this really strict European standard called the RED Directive. What that means for you is mandatory password protection, ensuring that all the control signals flying across the network are totally encrypted and locked down. Your IT folks will love it.
Okay, so we've got our sound captured, we've got it transmitted wirelessly, but what's the point if not everyone can actually hear it? Let's talk about making sure our audio is truly for everyone. This is where inclusivity and accessibility are just so important.
Sennheiser's answer here is called Mobile Connect, and the concept is just brilliant. It takes the audio from the event and streams it out over the Wi-Fi you already have, so anyone in the audience can just pull out their own smartphone, open a free app, and listen directly with their own headphones or even their hearing aids. No special hardware for the user. It's fantastic.
But what makes Mobile Connect so powerful is that it's not just for one thing. I mean, yes, it's a fantastic assistive listening system, but you can also use it to stream different channels for, say, language translation. Or you could provide audio description for audience members who are visually impaired. It even has this wild feature where you can let people use their phone's mic to ask questions during a Q&A. It's incredibly versatile.
So we've got all this amazing hardware, right? The bars, the mics, the wireless gear. But how do you actually put it all together? How do you plan it, set it up, and keep it all running? Well, that's where the software comes in. This is the brain that controls the whole operation. It's really a simple, logical workflow with 3 main steps. First, before you buy anything, you use the room planner. You can literally drag and drop mics into a drawing of your room and see exactly what the audio coverage will look like. So cool. Step 2, for wireless, you use Soundbase. This tool scans the airwaves at your location and helps you find clean, open frequencies. And finally, once everything is installed, you use Control Cockpit. This is your command center for day-to-day management. You can check on everything, change settings, and push out updates to all your gear from one single screen. So just to recap that really quick, Room Planner is for design, Soundbase is for planning your wireless, and Control Cockpit is for managing everything once it's up and running. The whole suite takes you from the very first idea all the way through years of easy maintenance. It's a complete package.
All right, time to put all the pieces of the puzzle together. We've looked at all the individual components, but now let's see how they form the complete picture. And honestly, the best way to understand how the Sennheiser ecosystem works is to think of it like a living thing.
Check this out. The mics and the TeamConnect bars, those are the senses. They're the ears of the system, capturing all the sound. Then you have the wireless systems, Spectra and EWDX. They're the nerves, carrying those audio signals instantly and reliably wherever they need to go. And finally, you have the software, with Control Cockpit at the center. That's the brain, the intelligence that plans, monitors, and controls the whole body.
So if there's one thing to take away from all this, it's this. We're not just talking about a bunch of separate products. This is one single integrated ecosystem. Every piece is designed from the ground up to work together perfectly. And that's what lets you scale from one tiny meeting room all the way up to a massive global campus and manage it all as one system.
And that really brings us to the big question, doesn't it? Now that you've seen how all these pieces fit together, from the microphone picking up a voice, to the network, all the way to the listener's ear, I want you to think, how could a truly integrated audio system like this completely transform the way your organization communicates?